Welcome. In today's session, we will review the child support automatic suspension of your driver's license process, and we will show you tips and strategies in which to get your license back. This is the second part of the two-part series of Give Back My Driver's License. As you know, most of the counties in the United States, you get what is called automatic suspension of your driver's license when you have back payment or arrears on your child support. However, there are a few counties who do not participate in that program. For example, St. Louis County, Missouri. The prosecutor there, Wesley Bell, he has decided that his team will no longer prosecute anyone that has back child support payments or arrears or delinquency. And there are a few others that also do not practice the process. So here's a Justice Department letter dated November 7, 2016, where the Justice Department provided an opinion in a lawsuit against the state of Virginia for their automatic suspension of driver's license. So in this episode, what we're going to do, we're going to use this letter in our strategy in which for you to get back your driver's license. In that court case called Stinnie versus Holcomb, Stinnie, the Justice Department wrote a brief labeled, and I quote, "Accordingly, the Supreme Court has recognized a driver's license as a constitutionally protected interest, and that the state of Virginia officials is acting unconstitutionally when they deprive a person of this important interest by automatically suspending the driver's license because they failed to pay court fees or fine." So this is the Department of Justice letter we're referring to. And many of you who've watched my channel says, wait a minute, Chris, you've already covered this letter. In fact, you've already produced a video on this. That is true. However, the letter I'm referring to is this letter, which is the second letter that was written by the Department of Justice, where it deals closely with fees and fines of the court. So here we have on the screen, here are both letters. As you can see, they start off similar, but they address different issues. The first one, the top one, refers to fees and fines. The second one involves court and the process of court and judges and lawmakers. Hello, my name is Chris, and in this session, we're going to use the Department of Justice letter, the second one, in which to get back your driver's license. Let's get started. We have a section called Call to Action, where we provide tips and strategies of using this process to get your driver's license. As you may know, the driver's license process is managed by the state. Child support is a federal program, but it's managed by the state. Now, when it comes to suspension of your driver's license, it's either an administrative process or a judicial process. New Hampshire and New Mexico is an administrative process. In New Jersey and New York, it's a judicial process. So let's review the enforcement procedures for the suspension of driver's license. And it's in section 466 of the Title 4D program, or it's 42 USC 666, and the statute is 22 CFR 51.70 on the Social Security Act. So here are the key provisions of the suspension process. One, it must be implemented in all 50 states, and there must be what is called a trigger, whereas at a certain value in terms of arrears, it will be automatically kick in. That is $5,000. In some counties, in some states, it's $2,500 where they automatically suspend your license. Next, it also must include professional license, occupational license, recreational license, and your passport. So this is the video I produced using the first Justice Department letter called the 5 Lawsuits. If you haven't seen that video, or if you've seen that video, please review it again. and where I covered the 5 key things that came out of that letter. In this episode, we're going to look at the second letter that deals with driver's license. They found, the Department of Justice also found that this issue of suspension of driver's license for fees was in the Ferguson case as well. And in Hernandez versus California DMV, same issue, where if there are court and fines and fees that were owed, the automatic suspension of your driver's license. So let's look at the Supreme Court decision, known as Decision in One State, What Happens? Well, this is the response from the Supreme Court. Abelman versus Booth, which is a case law that says a judgment in one state must be recognized by other states, as well as federal law supersedes all state court laws. And that is Howlett versus Rose. I have a video called Know My Rights. When you have an opportunity, review that video. So let's look at the decision of the Supreme Court and let's apply it for the DMV process. So in the Cavadas case, here are some of the highlights. It's Cavadas versus DMV of Mercer County in 2019. One, that the automatic suspension process did not allow for what is called a due process of law, neither it had what is called a fundamental fairness, as well as there were no notices sent out. So unsuspected victims would have their license suspended, and there were no notices sent as to, one, that it was suspended, and two, what is called the remedy. In addition, when they looked at the case very closely, and again, this is found in the first video, you could review the first video, but let's look at the key highlights. The one thing they discovered was the Department of Motor Vehicle was making approximately $20 million from this process alone. And this process has nothing to do with child support. So here's the letter that they agreed to in the court case. It's dated April 1st, 2019, where the state of New Jersey, along with the Attorney General and the Governor and the DMV Director, says, we no longer practice automatic suspension of driver's license and warrants for non-payment of child support. That is New Jersey. This is a landmark case. So my opinion, the child support process involved the courts, fees, and fines. So if it's okay to forgive or put a process in place for the automatic suspension of fees and court fines, why not put one in place for child support? So let's look at the case again, which is Stinnie versus Holcomb, which is a case that the Justice Department gave their opinion. In addition, the NAACP also submitted their brief, as well as the ACLU also submitted a brief. So in the brief from the Department of Justice, they says that Virginia's official is performing an unconstitutional act when they deprive people of their driver's license without full fairness process. So after that decision, many states decided to implement or correct their laws. For example, in the state of New York, which I have here, New York on line 29 says they are going to change the way they look at the suspension of driver's license. However, they put one thing in there which I completely disliked. They said they will make the adjustment except for child support payments. In other words, they will monitor, they will remove the automatic suspension. However, they want to maintain that for the child support program. So here we are, call to action. This is my opinion. If the DOJ letter says it's an unconstitutional act for them to suspend your driver's license automatically without a full hearing, this gives you an opportunity to file a petition or a motion, a petition to an administrative agency and a motion to the court, where you can now add these case laws as your exhibits to prove that the process was either unconstitutional or you were not given an opportunity for fairness. So this opens the door that I feel that you could ask for and apply for the return of your driver's license or professional license. It gives you an argument. Likewise, the old way was to go to Department of Motor Vehicle and basically petition them to return your license. In this case, this is a second opportunity in which for you to petition the court to get your driver's license back. So if you disagree with our strategy, please feel free to email us, as well as we ask you to subscribe to our channel and also hit the notification bell when you're notified when we release another video. We also asked if you could support our channel by giving us a gift of at least $25, however, any amount is accepted, so that we can continue to bring our research and our information to you. So here we are at the end of this video, and there are other videos here on the screen for you to review. But again, this is a strategy in which you can get back your driver's license. Thank you.